Welcome to FMA Talk Live. I'm your host, Datu Tim, and this is my wonderful co-host.
Hey, PG Ties here. Welcome, everyone.
And of course, now my camera's got all weird on me. I got to get my lighting going on.
Audio, whatever.
Yeah, we were having moments today.
Yep.
So I hope everyone is doing well. So real quick, today we're going to do a deep dive of the Southern Ontario camp. And part of that is why the focus is on sparring with us. Breakdown on how the technique shifts from art to combat applications. We're going over the difference between skill development, physical attributes, and combat readiness, But before we dig in, oh my God, I'm glad hey, George, how you doing? I don't know if you saw my Facebook message, but I'm so excited today. Someone walked through the door in the middle of class today. I looked up. Oh, I think that's Ted. No, it's not Ted. It's Kevin Black. Not only is Kevin Black moved back in the area, he's coming back to class.
Excellent.
Yeah. So George and I both stood up at Kevin's wedding. So
that's awesome.
Saw it. Yep. Okay. There you go. Good. Eric, how you doing? The first to say hello. He beat us before we got the show going on.
Yep.
And then Mud's always here.
Of course.
There you go. And then Mr. Hiltz, we got to hang out with him this weekend.
Yeah,
Rich Parsons, how you doing?
Master Rich, hey.
And I messaged you. I probably, when I got here, I was probably too busy to see your message because we are trying to get things going and it's just not working. But we got it all fixed. I had the wrong microphone. He had the wrong or speakers and all these other settings. And next thing you know, bippity boppity boop, and it's all working.
Yep.
Yes, I watched Mary Poppins the other day.
There you go.
The whole thing.
You keep going.
Yeah. So for those who haven't watched Mary Poppins, it is amazing. It's funny that you can watch all the stuff that's going on, realize that this is not happening here. It's layered and layered, but even the fact that they had this stuff way back then was really, really, really cool. So, but we're going to be talking about the camp this weekend and how we tied in sparring and practical application of material into what's going on. But as a reminder, this Saturday is my holiday event. And at my school, it's the 36th anniversary. And what we've been doing for probably the last 8 to 10 years now, we've been doing free seminar. So whether you hang out in person with us or pop in online, if you go to the worldmodernarnis.com website, go into events, you'll see there's a community event. Sign up for it. It is absolutely free, but it'll be the intake form. So we'll get the emails and stuff. We'll send you a link, and you, if you're not coming in person, you get to watch it via Google Meet. And the nice thing is you can interact with us. So we can actually talk about what's going on. If you have any questions, if you want to show me a technique and say, hey, what do you think about this? Blah, blah, blah. So, and again, thank you so much there, Leonard. I did a batch of emails today. So if you did sign up before today, invites were sent out. There are more people registered after I did all the invites. So I'll be doing them in batches, but the first set has gone out. So so it is noon to 3 Eastern Savings Time. And unfortunately, this is just a live event. There will not be a digital copy of this. So if you want to watch it, you gotta be doing it right then and there. Hello, Seth. How you doing, sir? Okay. Okay, let me do this. But how was your weekend, PG? How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, pretty good. We stayed at home. We had some nice food. Rita went over and above and beyond like she always does. Made a bunch of pies too.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. Including a interesting cranberry something or another pie. It was really good on top of a key lime, which was also nice.
Yeah, we were at the Canadian camp and I didn't have any pies, although I did have a pie here. So I love my pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, they did have a grape ketchup.
Grape ketchup. Okay.
Yeah, Craig had that on one of his. I think it was Craig had something with that. I'm like, I tried it. It was okay. It was whatever. So I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, but I mean, we had a good weekend. We had a really good weekend.
Yeah. Good.
And we're going to be talking about all those things with that. But yeah, my Thanksgiving, the day was, I had a little club meeting, not Marshall, something else, in the morning. Came home, did the dinner, and then I went back to the school. Had some stuff I had to take care of, getting ready for the trip and stuff like that. And I was surprised on how long I stayed home on Friday before I left to go to Canada. For those who don't know, Canada is only 15 minutes from me, but where I was going was 2.5 hours, and that was the Black Friday driving. So, and actually, it wasn't that bad. I got near Hamilton. There was a diesel rig that was stuck on the bridge, and it slowed down traffic quite a bit. And then I got past that, and then the ride home, did a couple stops in the way. It was pretty good overall, though. It was good.
You didn't pick up any new things?
No, I did not. I was very good, very good. I tried Google Meet Tasted Robotic. Okay, there we go.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I did not go. I almost went Facebook marketplacing, but people didn't get back to me in time. Otherwise, I would have probably picked some stuff up.
Okay.
So, and James, how you doing? So, yeah, so it's all. I mean, it was a really good time.
Yeah, I want to make another one of those. What was I made the second one, or I make the first one? I can't remember.
You didn't make the Southern Ontario. You went to the Northern Ontario. That was with Craig.
Yes.
But we are already booking the next 2 years.
Excellent. Well, I want to make one of those again because that was a blast.
Well, Craig's is October.
October. Okay.
If you don't want to go as far, but it's Thanksgiving, so you'd have to be in Buffalo Thursday night, and then we would shoot up sometime on Friday,
right?
Or early. I mean, when do you do your Thanksgiving?
We usually do it like 4 p.m. or so on Thursday.
Yeah. We're done at 2:30. So for me, that works. I mean, actually, the other thing you could, if you look like godforsaken early in the morning, I'd be doing the driving. So if you can get to Buffalo by 4 at the latest, we could scoot up there because it's only 2.5 hours away. True.
Well, I think I guess I haven't made the Southern one. I'll have to pick. But certainly the Craig one will be good.
Obviously that's a good one. The only downside with that, it's an extra 5.5 hours.
Yeah. I mean, yep.
Yeah. It all depends on who's going where. It might be.
Datu puti.
There we go. Hey, ¿cómo está acá? Maganda umaga, you bastard.
There you go.
So someone did a reaction video, my reaction video.
I saw
2 people did reaction videos to my reaction.
I saw the one that was on top of that, yes.
And then listen, I don't mind reaction videos. I think they're good because sometimes some of the things I don't think it's a waste of time. Now, Apollo was okay, both guys were glomming onto what I was saying. Okay, so well, actually I think the first guy, I was doing a reaction video of his video.
Right.
So we talked about this bench fighting thing. I questioned it. And the reason
that's
why
right.
I questioned it is the group that's affiliated with it was claiming to do Buno/Dumog. And it's a person who I like and is an acquaintance of mine.
Sure.
But it was blatantly Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu done by a Filipino. That does not make it a Filipino martial art.
Yeah.
Filipino martial artist, there's a difference between practicing Filipino martial arts and a Filipino doing martial arts that may not
Right.
have anything to do with the Philippines. So I saw the group that sponsored it and all this other stuff. I question the legitimacy of that. Well, I question on how far back that started happening. Obviously, they're doing it. There's no question that they're doing it in the Philippines. But someone else made a comment like, I've never heard of that before. I'm an adult, and this is the first time I've ever seen it. And that was a Filipino. So is it something that they decided to market to make themselves different, to reinvent themselves, or is that something that he or his family did? Or, I mean, like one of the things, okay, so when the American Gladiators were out, they used to do pugilistic fighting on pedestals. I was on the U.S. tour. When I hit Niagara Falls, I was there and I actually disarmed the person that was in front of me. It wasn't American Gladiator. It was someone from a radio station. It was, but I actually got to do it, which is cool, but at the end of the day, when it comes to this, I just don't know how legitimate the actual activity is.
I mean, and it doesn't have to be a good activity, right? It could be, hey, just stay what it is.
And I said, I think it's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if it's a, thing. So here we go. Nitro. Ice. Well, thank you there, bud. Thank you.
American Gladiators. Yep.
Oh, here's one.
Hey, magandang gabi.
Very good. So, and remember, Ty and I are going to be over in the Philippines in February. We would love to meet as many of our viewers as possible. Absolutely. I'm not going to say our fans. I want to say our viewers. I want to meet as many of our family members, because if you're watching the show, you're part of our family.
There you go. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to that. That's the next trip I have to book.
Yeah. I'm probably booking it this week.
Oh, this week? Okay.
Yeah, because it's okay. So I listened to PG Ty, and PG Ty said, you know what they say for international flights, 60 days out. So I put a timer in my phone, and I'm like 5 or 6 days left, and it's been hanging at that 13-12, leaving out of Buffalo for like the last month. 60. So that's pretty low for me. I like 13-12.
Yeah, I would have thought that 60 days would be more like the middle of December.
Well, this weekend, it's this weekend basically, because I'd be flying out on the 20th, more or less.
Yeah, my alarm set off for start looking, set it up next week.
I'm assuming, James, you're talking about our trip to the Philippines.
Yes.
We will be flying over February 20-ish, give or take.
Yep.
And we'll be coming back around March 4th, 3rd, 4th. So March 1st or 2nd. We do a training camp over there. So it is open to people that want to come. You can just message us directly on that. I'm the one that coordinates the stuff. We've got a venue that we have a hotel we stay at, which is a courtyard, so we can bring the instructors to us. We'll do day trips. So it takes care of lodging. Basically, what you need to pay after the fee, you pay for your food, you pay for your souvenirs. I got vendors coming here, and if you're an instructor, I have opportunities to pay for your trip, or at least part of it, because the vendors will come to us and bring us stuff that we can sell on the way home or when we get home. So I'll be going back to the Philippines then. Really, James? Okay. All right, cool. So maybe we'll see you there. Where in the Philippines are you going? We're going to be based out of Manila. So not that we won't be moving around, because we'll also be looking at going to Cebu as well as Negros.
Yep.
I just realized that James' last name is Gygax.
Right. Yes, I saw that.
Yeah,
Well, that and somebody else's name earlier was Moncall. I was wondering if they're related to Leonard Moncall. I was wondering if it was related to Arnolfo Moncall.
never know. Never know.
I don't
He'll
know.
be in Mindanao. I've always wanted to go.
There you go. Yeah, so for
Sweet.
me,
They're
it's looking
coming.
around 1,200 right now. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not that much more. I mean,
Yep.
considering the city I'm in.
Some
But
are
hey,
1,000, but we'll see.
yeah. Well, the good thing is like I book my stuff directly through Delta, which
Okay.
means if the flights drop in rates,
Yep.
I'll get it. Also, I get the most amount of points and stuff like that.
Sure.
So
Yeah. I don't know which airline I'll be using. Probably multiple.
yeah. Yeah, I could have had some others, but that's where I pick up my Filipino blades for my store. Okay. Yep. That's cool. Yeah, haven't been to Mindanao. I'd like to. Just don't have many contacts down there.
Right.
So but hey, let's get into our show.
Yes.
So so the thing is a mixed thing. We're going to review the Southern Ontario camp along with, because one of the topics we tied into it, how sparring and how our expression of professor's art is a lot different than others due to the nature of our sparring and how that just how training for context.
Right.
Oh, here he is.
There you go. Hey, Matt.
There we go.
Hopefully you and everybody else has had a good Thanksgiving or just a plain weekend, whichever.
Yeah. And we know now that, I'm not angry. I'm just me.
There you go.
Although it's hilarious, the trolls came out again. So we're actually planning, so because Chris was there and Chris was the star of the BJJ storming our dojo.
Yes.
So we were talking about reenacting the scene from Avengers Civil War or Captain America Civil War, where I walk in the elevator with a whole bunch of BJJs and go, if anyone would like to leave, now's the time. The doors shut, then they open up and they're all flipped upside down, and I just walk out like it's a normal day. Oh, there he is. PG Craig, who will be up here.
There we are.
There we go. He'll be here this weekend. So he's getting here Friday. You're getting here Thursday, is you thinking?
Thursday or Friday. I still got to figure that out. I've got a couple things at work. We'll see.
Bah, humbug work.
I think I've got them covered for Thursday afternoon, in which case then I can just leave in the middle of the day on Thursday.
Okay. Would you be leaving from work or home?
From work, yeah.
Okay. Well, your room's all set up, so it's all good.
All right, cool. Thanks.
So
no, that'll be good.
This is my fun one. So I do I think this is a good, I'm gonna put this video up because it's funny. Hold on here. Let me so now that I know how to do it. We're doomed. We're doomed. Okay, here we go. This is all about kicking with shoes. If you kick someone in some states while you're wearing a shoe, that's assault with a deadly weapon. I was kind of surprised when I heard it as well, but these are things that we have to think about outside the box as martial artists. If you're doing an art that kicks, obviously you're not going to take your shoe off. I guess this is where the jiu-jitsu guys win on this one because they just get to take down and cuddle. But seriously, why does everyone guess which states those are? Or if you happen to be in that state, make sure you let us know. And for more information like this, make sure you follow. Did you hear that?
Yep.
Okay. So,
perfect.
So, I never knew, I knew that, but I was shocked when I first heard about that, So of course, one of the guys like, you couldn't let it go. You couldn't let it go. You had to make some comment about BJJ. So I'm like, dude, it's a freaking joke. I figured it out. all the people that are making comments, they must be like Generation Z and millennials and all these thin-skinned babies. I mean, because we would hack on each other's parents or mothers, and that you might be related to somebody else, and your mother was a trollop, and like, yeah, well, your mother was this and that and the other thing. This generation, they don't know how to give or take ridicule.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was funny. Okay. So, especially when everyone's like, dude, it's a joke. Get over yourself. So, anyways. So, oh, hombre. Yep. Shout out from Cebu. Hey, we're going to be there. So I don't know, the thing here is I don't know everyone's Facebook accounts, especially when we're looking on this is very small, and sometimes people use different names. Like we know someone who uses his different, like uses a middle name instead of his last name, and
Right.
And
you already
our
pointed
friend,
out that this guy's name is Spider-Man in Spanish.
is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, there we go. Okay.
Hombre Araña.
Okay. We will be there in February, like the 21st to March 1st or 2nd.
Yeah.
So, and I'm looking at, there's a whole bunch of Spider-Mans in Spanish. Hey, direct message me. So then we can always like try to coordinate. Are you near Cebu City? The plan is to go visit Dos Eparras headquarters, something that we haven't, and for all the trips that have been there, we have yet to interact with Dos Eparras people in a training environment.
Yeah, it's about time.
I'm all about visiting our Balintawak family over there, but if I don't see all of them, I'm okay, because we did get to meet them, and I like to always meet new friends,
Yep.
So, holy cow, the quantity of Spanish Spider-Mans are crazy. Yes. Okay. Kakoy. Yeah, I knew Kakoy. Yeah, message me directly. Just Tim Hartman. You'll see Datu Tim on there as well. So, then we can maybe like meet up. So if everyone's trying to get a hold of me, don't look up at the Datu Hartman profile. And let me I'll bring this one up here real quick. The one you're looking at, that we're looking at, I got Trixie's on. Well, okay, here's the. Okay, so this is the one you're looking for. Don't worry about this. It's that profile right there. So that's Trixie, that's Linda Polito, and that's this guy. That was at the World Championships this past summer in Cebu. So, but when we're looking at my profile to make sure, Tim Hartman, and it's Datu Tim afterwards. There, let's just do whatever. The do Facebook Messenger there, because the other one is just a pain in the ass. Doesn't always work right. I get there's just too much stuff on that other one. So, all right. You held way back in the 90s. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It just dropped me a messenger. Okay. Check it out. Okay. Someone just messaged me, so I'll have to look that up. So hopefully he did. Okay. So anyways, so we did a 2-day mini camp. We didn't get to do the full 3 days or 4 days, and sometimes. I started the thing off. We talked about. I did 2 sessions. I don't know which was which. We started off with the. Well, we start off with the nomenclature. We start about hitting in, hitting through, unbraced and dos manos blocking. I talked about our template. So I talked about I had 7 ways. Like we talked about the Amara. I did the Amara. I say, how do we implement the Amara? I go, it's the same way as like, okay, how many ways can we do the cross across? How many ways can we get in to do the cross across? Well, the first way for either the Amara or the cross across is you just hit the person. Second way is they swing at you, you evade the shot, and then you hit the person. Third way is you block the shot and you hit the person. Fourth way, you do block, check, counter, and then do the Amara, because now we're specifically doing stick work.
Right.
So after block, check, counter, the fifth way, you can do police into the Amara. And then you could do, which is a little hard. This is the hardest one. This is this one's actually the hybrid. Is a hybrid. So you do the cruzada, which is actually a combination of the seventh one I had, which is the largo mano destruction into the Amara, which you could easily apply this to all of the striking methods. So if you're doing figure 8 or ocho ocho, you do block, check, counter. You can hit the person with it. They swing it. You can evade and do it. You can block the shot and hit it. Then you can do block, check, counter, hit it. You can do police and hit the figure 8. You can do the cruzada flow in the figure 8, or you can do the largo mano destruction where they swing it and you just hit the arm, which actually you probably should do that before the cruzada because of the hand management. So, but the nice thing is we had a new venue. Well, it was the same hotel, but we had a new room they gave us, which was amazing. And we had multiple whiteboards, so we could actually write.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's helpful.
Oh my goodness. And that was it. So and people took photos of it.
Yeah. We did that in the last Texas camp we had.
I really, I pride myself on how I've turned this into my approach is very educational, like real, like we're not just swinging sticks at each other. I wish I would have had, if I would have been more. I did some teaching with Remy, but I didn't have, at the Michigan camp. I did a lot of teaching, but I didn't have my head on about this the way I do now. And I would have. I mean, we're in a classroom, so we had chalkboards everywhere. I would have been all over mapping things out so people can see this, and I mean, we could have been so much further ahead. But you know what? Things happen for a reason. You do your best and then, figure out other stuff later, but, yeah. Hey, let me see here. Bruce, good evening. And Kuya Tai.
Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
So,
very good. No, lots of folks on, it seems like today.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, we've been getting, I mean, we got 24 showing on this, but I think there's a lot more than that, So, when I went through that, the big day was Saturday, so, Craig showed some stuff applying the tappy in a more combative sparring, like how he's used at Dog Brother matches or gatherings. We had Jason Arnold doing a bunch of trapping and applying stuff. We had Hiltz and Workman both doing different takes on jiu-jitsu and hapkido. Okay. And Shell and Kempo, you can have you can't wear a red key. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And Amin, yes. Amin, we're so excited for Saturday seminar. And you get I don't think Amin has met you yet, Ty. Maybe he has. But we're looking forward to that. I thought
so, but I could be wrong. I'm forgetting lots of things these days. Yeah. Stress.
We won't say anything about you getting older.
That too, yes. Well, it's a stress of itself.
That just means that I'm getting older too.
That's right. Way older.
Yeah, I'm a full 30, 60 days older than you, something like that.
That's right. Gosh.
Oh man, that's like another century for all intents and
purposes. That's why I talk slowly when I talk to you.
Okay. So I can. What'd you say, Sonny?
That's right.
I can't hear you.
I'll get you an ear horn.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. So so those guys did that. On Sunday it was pretty much me. Oh yeah, he said yes. You met. Yes,
okay.
we met. Okay.
Thought so.
So we got here. Okay, how much
We had
different is your system, Guy, than our? We have no color scheme in our system.
right.
Although in
Plus we've done
Combatant it does.
right, but plus we've done a show or two on uniforms too for Modern Arnis, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, Professor didn't care.
Right.
Let's get right down to it. He really didn't care.
Show up, train, have fun.
Yeah. I mean, we would be at Michigan State University. People would be wearing like tank tops and shorts,
right,
doing their art. And as much as I would prefer, there's that more formal uniformish. The people back then, this was a different era. This was the 80s and the 90s. We got the important stuff. It was about the training. That's the important stuff. So, it is what it is.
So let's get, you mentioned you covered a couple things for the camp. What else from this last camp would be good to bring up here? Well, that's Bruce asked what he missed, and we've been talking about the camp after we stopped rambling.
Yeah. So, we talked about, so today's about sparring and more context. So Craig did a section on,
that's right,
on that aspect. And then I did tappy on Saturday or Sunday, and Sombrata drill. We had a shorter session. We started at 10 a.m., which was the plan. But with the snow everywhere, we decided that we were done at noon, which meant we really were done at 1, saying goodbye and all that other stuff. Oh, there's Carl. We're just talking about it. Carl was the host of the camp this weekend.
Excellent. A fine gentleman, fine young man.
So what I worked on is, so tappy's, as Professor would call it, it was semi-sparring. It got a lot of sparring mindsets, but it's still like playing checkers or chess, where each piece had a move, and you couldn't deviate too much from that.
Right.
You could blend endlessly the stuff together, but it wasn't one of those things where you, still, there's only so much we could do. I mean, I would say that that's Carl. Yep. I would say that there's endless limitations, but the whole idea is we're not sparring. We're not trying to hit each other. Right. We're not trying to hurt each other. We're working in a fairly a loosely regimented structure that allows for innovation to throw off the timing, but nothing to really jeopardize the safety of you or your partner. How's that, Ty?
No, that sounds right.
So there's, but like chess, there's only certain moves we could do. It wasn't like, hey, I can just punch you in the face anytime I want. But we broke down like, okay, so the original semi-sparring was off of single Sinwali. And then we went into this butting drill, and then we went into all this other stuff. But the thing was, a lot of times people are doing the motions and having no real understanding on what we were doing. And so my whole thing was to bring the fighting aspect of what was going on, talking about what we're actually doing in different places. I'm looking. Oh, that video still blew up. Okay. Yeah, I've got YouTube up here, and I am looking for Remy doing tabby. And I guess this one might work. Okay. And no, this is the Sagita style. I don't like the Seguida style, especially when the person's not doing well. Yeah. I'm a snob. I'm the first one to admit it. When someone's doing moves on a shitty level, I've even called out bullshit on some of Remy's techniques. Well, not even calling bullshit on it, but Remy was doing connect the dots, and I made sure that, hey, listen, connecting the dots doesn't mean what he would do, like obstruction removal against a bolo. I'm sorry, Remy would never capture a bolo and then let it go while the person can still use the bolo. He would have disarmed you long before that. And Dean Branco says hello.
Branco.
There he goes, our man Dean. So it annoys me when everyone hacks up Remy's videos and then just puts all bits and pieces up. But hey, that's just me. I'm looking at, I'm trying to find this, but maybe this is it right here. Nope, I can never find it. I should have. And this is the problem when we go off the rails during a conversation. But the big thing was, so we start off with single Sinwali, which is 4 strikes. So, and hi Renee and hi Rich. I don't think Renee popped in yet. So, oh shit, I mentioned his name.
Uh-oh, now you summoned him like Haster.
Yeah. So we talked about how those are the long range probing shots of sparring, and you wouldn't do it rapid fire, just like a sparring. You feed a shot to see how someone reacts,
Right.
Then we talked about, okay, when we block check counter into butting, what are we doing? Well, we're not going into butting. We're going in for a combative finish. Why does butting happen? Because they counter my move. And then I hit him. Oh, shit, he was here. God damn it. You bastard, Dean.
Hey, draw him out of the woodwork. Hey, Renee.
Oh, wait a minute. Professor.
There you go.
That's 3 shots now.
Hopefully he brought enough.
Yeah. So, we talked about how this drill, we would do it more this way. And then I talked about how N-ring. And I'll probably share a little of this on a seminar. Like we did the whole Punya Decadina drill. So that's the budding of Tappy Tappy, of the Solo Bastan Tappy Tappy. LOL, who's counting? I'm counting. He's got at least 3 shots after that. So
that's right.
So, and we started talking about Sombrada drill. So we did that. And, Jason went away. How do you do it left on right? Well, and we talked about when we're doing the opposite hands, we first decide which hand we're doing it in.
Right.
Are we doing it right-handed or left-handed? Not me, both of us.
Right.
So, and everyone's going to like, well, what do you mean? It's left versus right. No. And generally we're righties. So we say, we're going to do it right-handed. So what happens is my stick goes this direction when I'm doing right-handed. So I take the stick on that right-handed path. So it still lines up the same way. And Jeremy was there.
Hey, Jeremy.
The butting was great segment. Well, thank you.
That sounds like Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy likes my butt. What can I say?
I was going to say.
Renee butts his head. Okay, it does with them.
We'll do that with the opposite hand sombradas, and we'll actually do them both the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fine. It's just like you said. It's a path of the stick that matters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and listen, so, and the thing here is the perfect example. And good day, PG Ty and Datu. Yep. Okay.
Good day, mate.
So, good day, Mike. Yep. The thing here is there's a perfect example of this. And that is when we do our block check counter. Block check counter, you don't have to switch hands because it's always the same. If someone hits me on this side of the head, no matter what hand my weapon's in, it goes to that zone.
Right.
So it's based on who's the attacker. So if a lefty's coming at me, I'm doing the left-hand version, even though I might be right-handed, and vice versa. I'm responding to that stimuli. Oh, Carl has a video. Good. Make sure I get a copy of the said video. Everyone takes photos and videos, and I never see this. One of my fans were trying to bust my chops. I've looked all over the internet. I can't find stuff of you. I'm like, well, I wish to God I had more photos and stuff, because I was always the one doing the material with Remy, and people weren't taking photos or videos. And back when we did it, Ty, how expensive were camcorders back in the 80s and 90s?
Well, 80s and 90s, we're talking thousands.
It was usually like $1,500 when I got mine.
Yep.
And that was in 1986 at a minimum wage job, which is under $5.
Right. I know in the 90s they were more like hundreds, but still.
Yep. Well, they were like half the price in the 90s. Yep. We'll send them all, But as they were trying to bust my chops, I'm like, dude, we didn't have videos back then. I mean, video cassettes, because we'd had cassettes, we didn't have DVDs. They were like $50 back then.
Mm-hmm.
US. That was real expensive. 1986. Is that BC or AD? That's Matt. Okay.
Yeah, of course. That's funny. Back when everything was made out of stone tablets.
Okay, let's just look at this here. I will tell you. So, here we go. My camera, my shoulder VHS cassette camera that I had in 1988, which was $1,500 back then, would be $4,000 today.
Wow. Yep.
When Professor sold his videos back then, they were $50 a video. And that's $133 by today's standards.
Yep. Crazy.
People have no clue the sacrifices we made back in the day. Okay. When Datu was a kid, Tibet were made of...
Of course they were.
Of course they were. Bastard. I'm not going to out you, Mud. We all know that we know who you are, but you're still funny.
He's pizza, right?
He's pizza, yeah, but I know who he really is. So we both know who he really is. But one of these things, we should have a reveal.
Or we could have
with the blackout, and all of a sudden, it's me. It's Tim.
There you go.
It's not Tim, by the way. Okay, Tappy was great training. Is a great training. One thing the others should learn from it is to have fun while learning and feeling it. Yep. Sure. I think there's so much good stuff in what we do. The problem here is when you do any martial art, okay. I talked about this with Betty. Let's do it. We'll see here. Hi, Tim. Do you think turning a martial art into sport makes it lose of its meaning? So here's the thing on this one. It's yes and no. So I think making Filipino martial arts, we're talking about getting into the Olympics and stuff of that nature. That's what we'd like to see. That's good. With a big enough gene pool, you can have people do different tracks and you can still keep the integrity of the martial art and the essence of what you're doing. You'll have the people who do the sport and you'll have a sports school. Then you have people who do the art and they have the art school. I think it's important. I mean, we do all three of those. We're martial art, we're martial sport, we're martial combat. We are a school that does tournaments. We are not a tournament school. And I think training for sport is good because it makes you push yourself. Like training for belt. When you have a goal, you train harder for it. But yes, there is the problem. Like, here's what I see in the Philippines. they've got more children in the Philippines practicing FMA than the rest of the world together, in my opinion. It's like those kind of crazy numbers. Because most people outside the Philippines don't teach kids. I would be willing to bet serious money
Mhm.
that if we did a statistics here, not more per capita, but more kids, period, in the Philippines as a total than the rest of the world together doing Filipino martial arts, or at least underneath the Filipino martial art banner.
Mm.
Not necessarily like some countries might be appropriating another martial art but calling it their own. Um, Now, I know right off the bat, everyone's going to say I'm thinking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm not. Although that's a good example. But Jiu-Jitsu, by the way, remember, there is no such thing as BJJ because it came from Judo, which means it came from Japan. But there is Brazilian spice in what they're doing, and they've added a lot of good stuff to what they're doing. Hey, Christian, how you doing? So, hoping that Mud's in. Okay, out of the millions of us, Taekwondo, there are 12 at most on the U.S. team. Actually, I don't even think there's that many. But the
Right.
thing here is, if you got that many people trying out to make the team, the notoriety, the visibility, it becomes a thing to do. If Taekwondo hadn't gotten the Olympics, Taekwondo wouldn't be what it is today, hands down. If the UFC never happened, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and BJJ would not be what it is today.
No doubt. Yeah.
No questions that, or even all the other arts, wrestling and judo. People are training it now more because they want to be fighters, and they find out it's not really worth being a fighter. It's the money I get paid versus the pain I go through. No. But for those who want to do it as a social interaction or fitness or just something they've always wanted to do, so be it. It's all good. All good. All good. But you know, um, the thing here is, I think it would help with our visibility if it got into. I think if it got to the Olympics or some venue like that, I think the art would blow up. But like I said, in the Philippines, it's huge with the kids, but then they age out and have to get jobs. And since it's free in the school system, they're all good. But what happens afterwards? There's probably less adults in the Philippines
You're.
practicing
I don't
FMA.
know if it's just me, but you're breaking up and freezing off and on your screen. I don't know if anybody else is seeing it. Let us know if they
Yeah.
are.
Okay, let's find out here. Let's get caught up here with this. Okay. But lift I call. Okay. And then that's true. The problem is lack of funding for the children, for the tournaments. We also lack FMA tournaments, to my best
Okay.
knowledge. Especially, Ellen, he says it's clear here, so it might be
Yeah,
you.
must be something weird.
No, he's good in this end, Jeremy. Okay.
Okay, thanks,
Not
guys.
seeing it. Okay. So once the kids, okay, if they're attached to a team, and that could also be in their 20s because I've known people who got attached to a military team doing stick fighting, but sooner or later you get to that point where maybe it's like 24ish, you're done, or if you're doing it in school and you didn't get attached to a team for college or whatnot, and you have to go get a job, you're not doing martial. I know many arts. I've seen it really. Once you get to a certain age, you're too busy working for your family. And so that's where I think Filipino martial arts is more popular in the adults around the world than it is in the Philippines. But in the Philippines, it's much stronger. I mean, like I said, I would be willing to bet that the total number of kids doing it in the Philippines outnumber the rest of the world combined. I'd be willing to put that kind of bet down because I think, because I see how many schools don't teach children.
Right.
And I'm not talking a Sinwali here and a disarm there. I'm talking real Filipino. I mean, and I'm not talking hardcore thrusting in the eye sockets and all like that, but just like, are you getting them on the path so you can eventually get them into adult programs. You eventually get them going from there. So there are different takes on that. So I'm gonna tell you two things. First of all, I'm gonna tell you, I was hosting tournaments while Professor was alive. I started in 91, I think, 92. 91 was when I was teaching out of Powerhouse Gym. And I told Professor, hey, I'd taken some time off. And I'm like, I'm going to get back into hosting tournaments again. He goes, oh, Tim, that will be wonderful. And then, we'll have the winners. We'll get the airline to sponsor and we'll fly them to the Philippines. Okay. I'm like, okay, great. So that's the story I had with Remy. We all had our conversations with Remy.
Mm-hmm.
No one was there. It was a him and me conversation. So then I'm sharing the conversation with somebody maybe like 3-6 months later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Remy hated tournaments. He would never do a tournament. Really? Have you read Remy's book? What? Have you read the Pink Book? Because there's a whole section in Remy's book that has all the tournament rules, the flags, the ring. I mean, it's got the whole thing written out. Now, here's the problem. And next week's show is our season finale, and we're talking about the state of modern Arnis. Has it improved over the last year? Has it stayed the same? Has it gotten worse? And I'm not talking necessarily political stuff as opposed to bigger numbers, less numbers. Are we growing? Are we shrinking? Are we making this good for the next generation? That's the intent of this conversation or next week's show. When you have an art that's practiced as a add-on, it's not your primary system, you shouldn't be that good at it. And Remy students outside the Philippines, for all intents and purposes, in my opinion, the norms, not the exceptions, never took their FMA training wheels off. I mean, by the whole definition, the art within your art. What does that mean? Ty, can you tell us what does that really? How would you explain that to a layman who has no clue what the context that that's suggesting?
So I would remind people, if it's art within your art that it's the art within must be your main art. So then modern Arnis would not be your main art.
Yes, because you are, wait for it, cross training. Mm-hmm. So you shouldn't be better at that art than everyone else. I mean, so the seeing, I had, at the time of Remy's passing, I had the only dedicated school to Filipino martial arts. Or no, I'm sorry, not Filipino martial arts. Modern Arnis. My bad. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Let me say it one more time. I had the only dedicated school, full-time school to modern Arnis. Full-time curriculum. So I had a part-time school, full-time program. Part-time school meant it paid for itself, but it didn't pay me. That's where I started. So I had a day job, but I didn't lose money running my school. And even though I had full-time hours, it wasn't my profession, but the school was dedicated to teaching Filipino, or specifically dedicated to teaching Remy's art. There was 3 schools that we know in the history of modern Arnis in the States. Rocky Paswick's was the first one. John Bryant's was the second one, and I was the third one. I came from John Bryant's. And as Rocky said on more than one occasion, I'm the only one that seemed to know how to run it as a business. And you know what? I didn't know what I was doing at the beginning. I got a lot of good lessons from people who were better than I was. So, but at the end of the day, everyone else did it as, and there's difference, like not Craig, I'm sorry. Ty may have done more than one art, but he did the same thing as I did when I did my Balintawak and I did my Kuntao and my Sikaran. We went in as white belts and we worked our ways up through these systems. Yep. It was like, hey, do not rank us as a cross rank us for what we can do.
Right. And I had my own programs for modern Arnis separately.
There you go. So I don't think professor wouldn't encourage people to go to these tournaments because they would lose, because karate and taekwondo and jiu-jitsu and judo players and fill in the blanks don't know how to win at Filipino martial art tournaments because, wait for it, they don't specialize in Filipino martial arts. Just like when I went to, when we did full contact in the 90s and early 2000s, I did full contact taekwondo tournaments. Oh, what's that mean? Back then, you could knock each other out. I didn't win, but my first one, I ended up in third place. And afterwards, I found out I really didn't know what I was doing. I would have trained completely different had I had any idea.
Sure.
I had all the ability. I didn't have the endurance.
Well, that's funny because I mean, basically, that ties into the point that I was bringing out is, unless you're really proficient in whatever subject it is you're talking about, you don't know what you don't know. So you had to come across this situation to realize how you would have done differently had it been, what you were doing by itself.
Oh, wow. I guess you do look like Maynard.
Do what?
Here we go.
Okay.
I just pulled it up.
I don't know what he looks like.
Well, you know what? I do.
You can pull it up.
There we go.
Oh,
there's Maynard.
There you go. That's funny. It's not too bad, especially when I'm wearing glasses.
Ty doesn't have the proper. This guy Maynard doesn't have the right finger up to be Ty. No.
I do a variety of fingers depending on the situation.
I love that tool. Get it, tool.
There you go. No, never noticed that, Renee. That's funny.
Okay, so I think, and I know some people who have done it, and they've done their best, and they just never could. They were missing something, and my basic thing would be what they were missing was the commitment to do the art the way it should have been done as a standalone system. But if you were running a full-time school already, why would you turn your back on a formula that works and paying for your family and all this other stuff? You got to think about these things. But okay, let's do this here. Can you read that one?
Yeah, Bruce goes, one thing about Arnis here is that it's just the basics that they taught. I experienced way back in college, 2K13, so 2013. Do you think schools should teach students more than basics? Well, eventually, and hopefully get them ready to do that. Yeah, sure, why not? If they can do that. But it might just be, just like when you learn in your regular PE classes and you have calisthenics, you learn push-ups, jumping jacks, sit-ups, a few things like that. But you don't learn all the really cool things you can do with calisthenics. So it has to be the right thing at the right time.
Yeah. And is it something they run all year round, or is it just like,
right,
I'm just going to do a semester in this or whatever?
Right. Like square dancing for these 2 weeks. So we're doing some Arnis.
I remember doing that. I remember square dancing, and Maynard was a black belt in BJJ. Okay.
As soon as you said Maynard, I'm thinking Maynard G. Krebs, but that dates me.
So, so I think that's the problem. So Remy never. I think Remy Remy protected his people from many things, including their own weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And he may have told certain people that that maybe they didn't understand him because English wasn't his primary language. Mm-hmm. Maybe it wasn't about not do tournaments. Maybe you shouldn't do tournaments.
It could be, yes.
I mean, who knows? But all I know is I had a conversation with Remy. Remy encouraged it. Remy has the rules in his pink book.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he must like tournaments to some extent or another, because it wouldn't be in the tournament now.
Well, and we know I don't know about love, but I benefited from and did well with throwing down. So he had to do that a fair amount.
Yeah. So, but I think,
I think there's a mentality that some people gets into when they get tournaments that maybe he was trying to discourage for some people.
Right. So Ty does his spring and fall fling thing because it depends on the time of the year the name changes.
That's right.
And it is the thing. It's literally What are the two titles?
What fall? It used to be a fall FMA fling and spring FMA thing.
Okay, so I'm not busting his chops. He
Right.
literally said it's this. He has two events usually most years: a fall and spring thing and fling, depending on which is which. It doesn't really matter.
I bust my own chops.
Yeah. So when we're doing that, and because I've been to a bunch of them,
Yep.
sparring is broken out, and Ty and I have been in the middle of things.
Mhm.
We're out there, and it was funny too. Is the one that I said, like, went back, I did this, and we're just using the action flex, and the hit series is pretty tough when you're wearing no gear. And
Right.
like the one time it was funny, the first time I did it with the groups, and like I haven't done backyard sparring in a long time, and they cracked my knuckle on a good, I think they got the non-padded part of the stick on my knuckle. I'm like, okay, I'll feel that. Yep. That was good. It was good to remind me what I used to do back when I was younger. And here we go, thing and fling. There you go,
There you
Darren.
go. Yep.
Hey, Darren, are you coming to Buffalo for the event? Are you watching it online, or have no clue what I'm talking about? Because we have a free seminar this weekend, which I'll probably put out another email to everybody this week to remind people. I probably should have my social media crew put up another announcement on that too. So, I think what I'm proud of that makes us different than all the other groups, I think, is the fact that we really encourage sparring and not tappy tappy. Not that we don't do it, but that's not sparring.
Right. It's another tool. It's a great tool.
Well, Darren, if you have not registered, it's free. But it's live only. It's from noon to 3 this Saturday. So you can find if you haven't gotten the invite, go to the website, worldmoderneast.com, hit the events section, and then sign up. And this is for everybody. It says zero. You can on the price. So there's the in-person, and then there's the virtual option. Click which best fits for you guys, and then we'll send you a link so you can watch live on Google Meet, which is great because you don't need any software. It's just in your browser already. And then if you get to do that live, then you can ask us questions. So you're going to have three of us teach. Each one is going to do an hour, and we're going to have a good time.
I should do a wide swerve and drop by where he's at and just grab him, make him come.
We can probably find a place for him to sleep.
Yeah. My car seats fold down.
There you go. Or I mean, we just split the bed in your room if we have to.
There you go. Oh, we can snuggle.
You could do that. Someone needs to be the spoon. Big spoon, little spoon. I'm a ladle, just for the record.
But yeah, no, I don't know if I'm going Thursday or Friday. We'll see. I'll let you know.
Okay, what's this? You're gonna hate this, but Tappy Tappy is our version of BJJ rolling. I don't know if I buy that. Because I mean, when you roll, you're trying to win, right? Tappy Tappy, you might be showing each other up, but no one really wins because you're not sparring.
But in the chess connection, because you made an analogy to chess, I think that part of it probably plays. Yeah.
So
that's why I was looking up. I was trying to find out what he was going for. But yeah, I think I can see that to an extent.
So here's my question for those who are watching: how many of y'all spar with your Filipino martial arts? So, and when I spar, I do just as much punch kick sparring, Panantukan style sparring, as I do stick, as I do weapon sparring, because I'll do padded knife, I'll do stick, knife, stick and dagger, double stick, staff, do a whole bunch of different variants. So you know, but you know, yeah. So I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Are we the only ones that are like crazy like this, or do other people actually spar in modern Arnis? Yep. Good. Good.
Good. Excellent.
And there is
Yeah.
a new paradigm for sparring right now where it's more working material back and forth,
Mhm.
or it's less competitive. Like when you do the competitive type sparring, everyone's worried about winning or losing.
Right. So you don't
When
try
you
new things, you don't
yeah,
take chances, et cetera, et cetera.
before it became a paradigm, I remember doing this with when I was fencing, and people would be like, "What are you doing? What do you mean? You're not like the Energizer Bunny Rabbit. You're not the Tasmanian Devil. You're just like you're in a whole different energy right now." I'm like, "Well, I'm trying some moves out."
Right.
Oh,
Right.
what are you trying?
Right.
And we started dialogue.
I used to do that. Heck, in Kung Fu, I used to spar and say, hey, I can only use moves from this particular corpus of material. And so that was a good rule to put in my own head and see what I could pull off.
Okay. Cool.
Sure.
And then
I like that one too sometimes.
one drill we slowly do MDS. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, just about trying to get better at what we do. And you don't always you shouldn't be going, it's like when I talk about people racing, um, I make the analogy to racing. Everyone's trying to go do a technique fast,
Hmm.
but they're sloppy and they do things wrong. I'm like,
Yeah. Right.
like, you know, I've done bicycle racing, I've done go-kart racing, I've done video game racing, I did slot cars, remote control cars, I did all this kind of different stuff. Gonna be going to some racetracks with my Mustang. They got all these things. And the thing here is, the thing I've found out time and time again is I would go slow and I would make the laps.
Mhm.
And everyone would go fast and they'd spin out all the time. And then they're going crazy trying to make up for the fact that they spun out.
Right.
Versus
Well, it's interesting.
just going slow.
It was interesting. I think most when people spar only to go full out and win, and neck things in because of that, I think it makes them stress speed, and it makes them stress for those full contact versions power. But we have a lot more attributes we need to use and take advantage of. Timing is one, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorite things about slow sparring is that guess what? You can't depend on speed, so you've got to set things up with timing, position, misdirection, et cetera, et cetera. And it's easy to put a microscope on it in a slow method. But I'm a big fan of all sparring. Sparring isn't all, but all sparring can be good, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
So Will says he spars everything he can find a willing partner in. That's always
Awesome.
good. Racetracks.
Awesome.
That's why I don't wear white key pants. And then takes competition out of it, allows safe experimentation. Exactly. So and so when I'm doing my techniques and our drills, I try to think of it from more of that realistic energy. What's actually happening. It's like, so I'm pretty much I know at least at a bare minimum on Saturday, I'm gonna do a session on how to enter into the butting range and realize that first of all, it's all about finishing. When I go in the butting back and forth, you're actually there's not this continued mindset. We let it go for attribute building. We're going for combative finishes every single time.
Right.
It's like, oh, I sweep stroke in. Well, what's a sweep stroke? Well, it allows me to pass the stick and get in the butting. No, it doesn't. What it should have been is knocking the person's teeth out,
That's right.
or you were trying to do a disarm. And the reason why
Sure.
you didn't knock their teeth out or do a disarm is the person in front of you
Did the
prevented
counter.
that from happening.
Yep.
And then they
Yep.
did a counter to knock your teeth out, and
Yep.
you stop that and do it back.
Yep.
And when we do the drill, the thing here is you want to do it in 3. 1, 2, 3, you're done. Any further down, it's more about position recognition and the study of movement and drill or skill development. Remember, if what we're doing is actually a drill, then it has nothing to do for practical applications, all about skill development. That being said, it doesn't mean that we can't train it in a way that can help us with practical applications. But the masses have a tendency of just doing the drill because they replicate it mindlessly because they don't know what they're doing. And when you are a part-timer or within your ardor, there's a bigger chance of you not knowing the actual use because you're still doing your primary art and you have your mind wrapped around that more than anything else.
I remember, and I think you've had this experience. The way that Remy taught me tapi stuff was very, lots of good pressure is not the right word. Lots of good challenging to your positions and movement and everything, like timing as well. But he'd do it broken rhythm, and he would do it to where both sides would jam each other up with position and timing and filling in the hole just from the space. And it made it very, very uncomfortable. That's the way I was taught it. So when I did it that way with those broken rhythms and the weird things like that, the same guy you were talking to about sparring was the one that told me, oh no, you gotta do it smooth, completely stay smooth, keep the same pace, keep the flow, etc., etc. And I'm like, yeah, you can do that, but when we're getting closer to trying to understand the intent and trying to manage the intent and making sure that all of the pieces are realistic and all the responses are earned, then you have to do it that other way. And if you don't do that, then you're doing a dance. That's my take. But I remember that conversation with this person, and I was aghast.
The same person I'm talking about?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
And I liked a lot of their other stuff and some of their applications, and some of the Kung Fu Connection was great, but that was very different because I took it to heart when Remy showed us that mean way of doing it. Yes, you can do it mean and still keep a nice flow and keep it nobody winning or losing quite yet, but it puts that added challenge in, which is, I think you and I love so much when we do drills. Once you've got the drill down, let's challenge the heck out of it, and we both get better.
Yeah, it's combat.
trying to get there. Yep.
I mean, that's the whole thing, and I think I once again, I'm not trying to make fun of the other groups. I'm highlighting what we do. And I mean, like, okay, when we came up, and we're talking about the norm, not the exception. Remember that 5-10 people is not the norm. That's the exception. But for all intents and purposes, people didn't spar. My group did.
Yeah, I didn't spar till later, but yeah, I get you.
While Remy was alive, we fought. And I would go to other FMA schools and fight. I mean, friendly. I wasn't storming dojos. I was visiting them, and we would actually spar, and we'd have a blast. And then we go out for food afterwards. Doug Marcaita's brother, RJ, used to come to my club all the time. And he and I, oh my God, we had knockdown, drag out brawls. Nice. And then people like, you guys hate each other? No, dude, I love sparring them.
Yep.
Because we both had people, we both found somebody that could really push each other.
Yep.
His brother was in the military. I didn't have any students that were his level. So we were all, we just didn't have that. And like, oh my God, like when he got in on me, I needed a freaking crowbar to get him off me because of the Pikiti Tertiary background. But he couldn't get near me or away from me without me hitting him in the head. So I remember we were doing thrusting, so and near the homemade sticks. He hit me with this uppercut poke. Whoa! As I recover, I drop the hammer back on top of him. I was like, nice, dude, that was awesome. Hugging each other afterwards. Oh my God, that was great. Oh, let's do it again. Yeah, I mean, there's this camaraderie in fighting.
Yep.
So there you go. I use the version of the trapping hands in tournaments. Gained a lot of free points. Great. Yeah, Will's doing the Armored Combat League stuff, so which is good. Just one more person out there showing that our stuff works in more than one. Our stuff works. You just need to adapt it to the environment. And understand what we're doing is geared for skill development, attribute development, position recognition. We're talking about, I was doing disarms today, and we talked about the belly strip. the number 5, Remy's old number 5.
Right.
And I was like, okay, you know what? Here's the thing we have to think about. Watch some real world footage. There's plenty of it on social internet of people fighting each other with real weapons with the intent to hurt or kill each other. There's plenty of stuff out there. And no one wants to overcommit because of the consequences. So a lot of times, like, well, when are you going to actually, I mean, we think about this. When we do our disarms, we're all hitting in or through with this full commitment, probably more commitment than the people on the street would actually give you. So how do you pull your stuff off? It's not geared to be done with a weapon. It's geared to be unarmed. And where someone's armed and you're not, and they're willing to get near you. And I showed how, like, okay, listen, from a clinch, semi-clinch position, I could do the belly strip while I was in there. It wasn't necessary, and it wasn't the way the professor. We didn't get there the same path that professor took us to learn the move, but because he taught me about position recognition and a study of movement, I realized where I was at, and I was able to do the move because I was in the. I have to be here to do the strip. Oh wait, listen, I'm there. It's not the way I was taught how to get there. It doesn't matter. I'm here. What am I going to do? I'm going to do this while I'm there. You know, I don't care if I walked across the street, ran across the street, biked, bust, whatever, airlifted, air dropped in, you know, Elon sent me in SpaceX to drop there. Once I get to where I am, I'm going to do what I got to do. Didn't know how I got there. All I know is I'm here and this is what I'm doing. And I think a lot of people that didn't do the experimentation of sparring and stuff of that nature miss those lessons. Or would never have the realization. No, they missed those learning opportunities.
Right. You can't learn from the opportunities you didn't take or know or try or whatever, right? So it's kind of a duh, but it's hard for people to remember that because guess what? Sometimes you don't know what you didn't try, right? Because maybe it's something that nobody thought of. But you always should be looking for those opportunities and looking for what you can get out of them. In my mind. Sorry, as I rant and rave and advise, because everybody asked me for my advice.
I just got someone asking me about going to the Philippines.
Oh, nice. Good.
I don't know if they're coming with us, but like recommend where to go and stuff like that. I'm like, well, you know, and here's the thing. Anyone who's out there, I'm easier to get a hold of. If you want to do a call, I'm the guy. I'm really the guy to talk to. If you're good with text messaging and emails, Ty's a better person to talk to because I'm dyslexic. I don't want to get into it. We are very good to help people with trips to the Philippines. You know, places to go, places to stay, people to visit. We do a trip every 2 years, and we would love for you all to come with us so we can mentor you that in person. But if you're going and it's by yourself, feel free to reach out to either one of us. I would be more to schedule a phone call or, you know, Facebook Messenger or whatever. But definitely, you know, if you need advice on things like this, either one of us can help you out with that. Okay, here we go. Please do a seminar in Vancouver with your colleague.
Oh, nice.
What
I love the Northwest. In fact, then we can see.
Okay, so you want? So if I'm reading this right, Philip, you want the two of us to come there?
That'd be great. I have family in Washington State. I was born in Anacortes, which is not too far from Vancouver.
How do I get a passport? Go to the post office.
And start it, yeah.
You don't know what you don't know. Exactly.
Absolutely, Eric.
So
there we go. We got two people that could, if we got out to the Northwest, they could, I'm sure they would, could use us.
So, yep.
I used to get out that way a lot visiting my family, and if I were still doing that, I would certainly look up some folks, but I haven't got out there in years or decades.
Okay. All right. So yes, Ty and I. Oh, yes, Ty and I believe you have a colleague in Vancouver.
The Ninja
Oh, the
Turtle.
Ninja.
Yes.
So you want
Right.
me to? Okay, you want me to come in? Okay, yeah. He and I are actually might be teaching in Wallaceburg in Ontario.
Oh, nice.
I would be. Listen, I've taught with Shashir in the past, and I'm always open to it. And anyone who's interested in having either if you're interested in having myself, or if you're interested in having Ty, or maybe the two of us come somewhere. Here's what I just got to tell you, and this is the brass tacks. This is what I do for a living.
Mhm.
Ty has a career
For now.
for now. We both have expenses in our
Mhm.
lives, and for when I go away, it costs me money to go away. So,
Mhm.
if someone wants to host us, we would definitely come out, but we would need airfare, we would need hotels,
Right.
and then there'd be the fees that would cover me being gone. Because in essence, I'm gone for I have to hire staff to cover my classes and stuff of that nature. So but this is what I do for a living. So obviously, I would have to charge. If I had if I had a job that I had, um, paid vacations and stuff like that, like I used to have when I worked, I'd probably look at potentially doing on my dime. I've been to just shy of Vancouver. I've been to Victoria Island where Remy was. I love it out there. I would love to
Yeah.
go to Vancouver and teach.
Yep.
But someone has to pay the bill. I hate to say it, because I'm this for the new year. I've already got 23 events scheduled,
Wow.
and so and this is what I'm going to make it out. Every time I have to stay away from my family, someone's paying for that time.
Mhm.
Because I love my family. Versus if I needed to get away from my family, I'd be like, get me
There
away
you
every
go.
weekend.
Well, the bare fact is, there is a part that lets you be able to do it, and that's the getting paid, right? I mean, that's happy to share, but it has to be sustainable and workable, and you can't do that if you're not. It's
Well,
just business, like
Philip,
anything else.
if you have an opportunity, and so PG Craig, who's on here, is a dog brother as well, out of Ontario,
Mhm.
one of the newer ones. I would love to come out and do stuff. And if someone wants to sponsor either or both of us,
That'd be
love to
great.
make that happen.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
all about, it's at the end of the day, it's not about making money. It's about not losing money, and that's really what it boils down to.
It
You
has to
know,
be doable in the long run, not.
yeah.
I mean, anybody can within reason, anybody can one-off one things, but guess what? You can't one-off all the time, and then it's not longer one-off. It's kind of like when people say, "Ooh, this is a treat." Yeah, no. If you're having 5 milkshakes every day, that's no longer a treat. That's your eating style. It's
Yeah.
unsustainable. Anyway.
All right.
Yep.
No, I think this was good.
So the topic was sparring or the camp, or was it both? We covered kind of
It
both.
was tying fighting into
Ah.
which was our approach to the camp.
Okay.
So a big thing I pushed at our camp was combative applications of what we do. You'd think martial arts would always be that way, but a lot of times people are too much into drills and skill development, or like we've done on other shows, which I think, so we're going to be revisiting a bunch of our own old shows, because now with me making this big push on social media, our shows are getting, at least on Facebook, so much more views than it ever did in the past, where it was getting hundreds of views. Now it's getting in the multi-thousands of views.
Nice.
So if we look solely on our YouTube channel, it's anemic. But when we sit there and like last week's show, okay, so you ready for this, brother?
Mhm.
Last week's show, that was a social media one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was a little kind of bounced around a little because um,
We're saving up
Tier-
for the last one, and then we'll take a break.
Tier was kind of like being a pain.
Yep.
But last week's show had 6,800 views.
Wow. All right, and that's just on.
That's just on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just on Datu Hartman on Facebook.
Okay.
And then Unlocking the Secrets of Modern Arnis Behind the Rank certification, 5,800. A review of the Massachusetts or the Salem camp, 4,000.
Yeah.
Unfiltered recap of the Northern Ontario camp and the Laurel, 3,900.
There you go.
3,800 for accountability partners. I mean, so we've had some ups and downs, and then it's like 1,900. Then it has 3,000. It keeps going up and down. 7,400 for a deep dive into why we chose Modern Arnis.
Okay. And we didn't even actually go. We didn't cover as much as we could have on that one.
No, we didn't. So it's been blowing up.
Yeah.
So
great.
Which we didn't have this viewership before. So I want to go back and do it again. Hey,
we have to break them in slowly.
Yeah.
Puerto Princesa.
Hey,
Very nice.
Hey, Vincent. Where is that? Where is Port? Where is that in the Philippines? Is that near where we go?
I think I've lost the picture in my head. I remember looking at it going, that's what they were talking about in my language training. And then now I forgot where that is. I'm sure he'll tell us if he wants. Good to see you though, Vincent.
Well, I'm looking up right now.
Okay.
Oh, it's on an island we don't go to.
Okay. And this is where I pulled the dot out. I knew it was on an island.
Oh, it's near Palawan.
Oh, okay, that's right.
So that's that's southwest of where we go.
Right.
We're at the Punta. We're watching show 10 currently. Watching 10.
Looks like there's another person watching from the Philippines too. Dusk Black Raider said it's cool to see Arnis done outside his country, or maybe
there we go.
Either in the Philippines or from the Philippines.
Nice,
that's cool.
Nice. So win some, lose some, Carl.
Yep.
Yep. It is. All right. So I get it. Autocorrect sucks.
Of course. I hate autocorrect.
I sent a message to somebody and I did this whole thing, and next thing you know, okay, we'll talk about the seminar here. I sent the message. I looked at it, talked about young boys. I'm like, what the heck just happened here? That was the Chaz Terry. I'm like, no, okay. dude. So, all right. Well, so I think we covered it. I mean, the thing was to review the camp and talk about the relationship between sparring and Modern Arnis and how we stress this at the camp. And I think we did a good balance of the two. The good thing is the Southern Ontario camp, our Thanksgiving weekend camp, we're booking for the next 2 years. Booking those two out ahead of time. We got a great facility. It was the biggest camp we've done yet.
Excellent.
And I'm looking forward. Well, I mean, let me see if I have it here. I'll do the photo before I go. Okay, that's not the one I want to do. Did I put this on my page? Oh, here we go. There we go.
Yep, saw that. Yep.
So that's it's a good sized group.
Yep. Looks like a fun group.
So Carl wasn't in it. He says what we had no color in the picture. Like so, but in the long run, like I said, this is a good event. We're looking forward to keeping it going and building it and getting better. Hey, Antonio, I hope you didn't just log in because we're about to log out.
That's right. Hello, goodbye.
The good thing here is you'll be able to watch the show almost immediately on Facebook and YouTube. It'll be available probably tomorrow. So for those who are interested, remember, free seminar this Saturday, noon to 3. In person, it's limited to the first 50 people outside my school. Online, we have a much larger net that we can use. There is a limit to it. It is free. Go to worldmodernarnis.com or wmarnis.com. Go to the, well, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just do it right here so you can follow along. So, and then we'll call it a night. So let's do this.
And then after that, of course, we've got, then Monday is our last show for the season, right?
So, yep. So if you want to do this, the first thing we want to do here is go to World Modern. Oh. Actually, I do it. I got to do it. I'll just do my normal.
Is that
WMARNIS.com.
WMARNIS.com.
Okay, there we go. So we go there. We log in. We go to events, which is right here. And the top event, right there, it is the Praise Arnis holiday event. Click on this.
Those goobers.
Yeah, these guys are total idiots, by the way. So these are the presenters, PG Ty, PG Craig, and myself. Doesn't he look deranged?
Which one? I think they all do.
Yeah, but Craig's got those scary open eyes.
He does. He's got the scary eyes.
So what we do is we go down, this tells about the event, blah, blah, blah. Register here. It's a free event. This is just an intake form. You don't have to, listen, I don't need all this stuff. You know what I need? I need your first name, your last name. I need an email address. That's all I need.
So you get the link, yeah.
Oh, and look, here we go. You check which one you want in person. There's the quantity. Top one is for in person. Bottom one is digital. And I submit my order. There's no credit card, no nothing. You are done, and done. So we've been doing this for pretty close to, well, probably we've been doing this for about a decade now.
Yep, almost. Yep.
This is us paying it forward, helping out the community. Not everything's about money.
And we started that before COVID.
Did that before. I actually, so as far as I can tell, I was the first person to do an online seminar for martial arts. And if not martial arts, it was Filipino Martial Arts. Like 2 weeks after we did ours, Defense Lab did theirs. But DL just did it the one time. We've been doing it ever since, and it was on Facebook Live. So there's limit to what we could do. Technology has changed significantly now, and we're using that, and we're helping everyone. And because of what we're using, I'd sit there. If I was using StreamYard, I might just say, well, I'll just do this on StreamYard. And who knows? Maybe I'll put a second system up and I'll put it on StreamYard. So we can watch, so we can just have it on our Facebook page. Who knows? Maybe this will be real. Well, let me see what I can put together. I would need to pull one more laptop up, but I could do that. Yeah, we'll see. Let me see what I can put together in short notice. So, that being said, it is that time. Next week, our show is, wait for it, Modernies, the state of affairs, or state of address.
It's kind of a forward and backwards looking look at what the state is. Yeah,
I have been very concerned, and I'm overly concerned, which may make me sound pessimistic. But I remember I'm one of the few people. Well, people say they travel a lot, but that is based on scale. So, I traveled all the time. How often was that? Or actually, I saw Remy all the time. Really? How often was that? Every time he came to my state.
Right.
Okay. So that would have been once a year in some cases. Or every time he came to my town. Probably that was once a year. I was seeing him 2 to 3 times a month. I went to 180 events of his, 30 of which was training camps.
Mm.
I got to see him grow. I got to see him at his peak. I got to see all these people. I don't know of anyone who's traveled as much with Remy as I have.
Mm.
Actually, and I hate the word with. I don't know as many people who attended the same quantity of camps and seminars that I did with Remy.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, we don't have those numbers. So this report, so I'm very concerned. Will this art die in our generation or shortly after that? So I've been very, very pessimistic about this because I understand how big it used to be. And I think a lot of people who are making comments to the contrary really have no sense of scale. They don't know, they don't have the same experience to understand where I'm coming from. So we're going to talk about whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Are we getting better? We've got a diverse set of people who are going to be on there. We'll go from there. So yes, paying it forward. Definitely interested in combat applications. So if you haven't already, sign up for it. I will make sure you get a link. I'll see if I can put this online. I think I have another laptop I can put in. I'm just not going to have a good camera. Well, I've got I got to see. We'll see what we can do. All right. Let me do this. It is that time. So, my friends, join us next week for the season finale. And pull this one off. Thank you, gentlemen, for all you do. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thanks,
And listen, we really appreciate all this stuff.
Absolutely, and the interaction. I still enjoy that. That's like the screw talking this guy. I love the interaction with all you guys, and right there with us. I love it. Thank you.
Right there, Ty.
There you go.
All right, listen. This is always a pleasure as usual, and not only to hang with one of my best friends, but to have the Martial family and seeing all the views spike now on using the social media terms. My God, I mean, knowing that the message is getting out like it is now, that makes me feel so much better about our future.
Yep.
And that's not just us; it's all of us. So a rising tide raises all ships. So listen, thank you so much. This is Dr. Tim.
And PG Ty. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
We'll see you all soon. As the technology doesn't work. One more button.